All right. For the next video, we are going to talk about magic. You've got hermetic mages, and you have shamans, and you burned out mages. That's right. What else did you have in first edition? I don't remember them all in first edition. This is back when I liked magic. Third edition made magic too powerful. Second edition, it was still fine. They'd made some changes, kind of to this how some of the spells work. But first edition, I liked first edition magic. I played a burned out mage because I liked it conceptually. But before we talk about the burned out mage, let's talk about our proclivities. We believe that role-playing games should take place in fantastic worlds, and that the focus, see, I remember the word focus this time, of the game should be on role-playing and having a good time. The core values of #RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. That's right. Pass that along. Every table should know that. You probably already do it because most normal people, they play by those rules. They don't even have to have them told to them. They just do it. But just in case, you should probably pass that along to folks. Let them know what a good tabletop group includes. A charity we support is the Wounded Warrior Project, a national nonpartisan organization whose mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors. Look to the description below or link to where you can make your tax-deductible donation, or just use your little QR code scanner on your phone and click that little happy smiley face there for you. He loves you. And join us on Thursdays and Saturday evenings on twitch.tv/legionofmyth to watch He the Dog and his team at Dirty Casuals play multiplayer games for your mockery and enjoyment. Of course, here on our YouTube channel right now, we're at RPG Digest. You can watch game-related or tabletop, let me be very clear, tabletop game-related videos, live streams. I can't talk. And on Friday, you can get to the Friday Night Chill stream where we opine and have commentary and editorials on TTRPG hobby as a whole. And of course, I'm going to sidetrack him at every opportunity I can. Yep. Subscribe.
Sabotage.
I don't know if it's is it sabotage? Oh my God. That's my tabletop game privilege coming out.
Oh, there it is.
It's sabotaging.
All right. Well, now we're going to talk about magic in Shadowrun. It's going to be a tall, look down view of the whole thing, but it'll be enough for you will understand. Now, first, of course, there's a credit, FASA, made it 1989. So that's when this is, 1989.
It's first edition. First edition sometimes have a little bit of dirt, we'll call it, in there.
Yeah, there you go. And you can get this, a legit AAA game, for $8 on DriveThruRPG right now.
Is that price still good?
That price is still good. I checked it this morning.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
You can use my affiliate code and give me a little cut of that.
Oh, look at that. All right. So what we're going to talk about, types of
these hot chicks.
I like hot chicks. What am I going to do?
Where do you find them? I need more pictures. Okay.
If you put hot magical chick.
I know the other one. I was going to tell you, don't get off that one for the last video. I was going to say, just stay on that screen. But now,
and then click on free use.
Yeah.
And pick one. That's all you do.
There you go.
All right. There are the types of magic: spell casting and ritual casting. Spell casting is instantaneous magic, fireball, lightning bolt, all that stuff. Ritual casting is casting over long distances or for greater effect, curses, whatnot, stuff like that. And then there are the schools of magic. Hermetic magic is your normal D&D wizard, training, symbolism, usually arcane languages, stuff like that. And then shamanistic magic, which is more intuitive and connected to the land. They actually are connected to a spirit of the land that gives them their power, or so they think. Anyways,
I really liked how both hermetic and shamans were put together in first and second edition. I really do. After that, it gets weird to me, but I really liked how first and second edition put together shamans and mages.
Cool. And then we're going to talk about using magic, actually casting spells, and what happens when you cast a spell as a detriment. That's called drain. And then we're going to talk about spirits. There's hermetic spirits and shamanic spirits. And then magical items, and then more errata at the end. Magical items.
More errata.
I'm going to get to that. All right. First, the magical disciplines. Hermetic mages. Just like the top picture, you think of a wizard, that's a hermetic mage. He draws symbols on the ground, studies constantly from arcane books, to get his magical formula to cast his spells.
It's Gandalf if he drove a car.
Basically, yes. Gandalf in a Camaro. And then there is the shamanic way of casting magic, which is based on Native American lore. So there's spirit totems. You choose between a dozen or so. And instead of magical circles, you have medicine lodges. And instead of lots of books, you have oral histories of magic passed down from teacher to student, teacher to student, teacher to student.
And the totem is more than just some spells. Your totem animal is a spirit
is
guide
a
for you.
real thing to you. It is a real thing. You can actually talk to it, and you are constrained. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. So the types of magic you can do as far as casting. Spell casting, ritual casting. Spell casting, like I said earlier, your basic line of sight magic, pew pew, lightning bolt, fireball, or turn to goo, turn to stone, urban renewal, which decays all metallurgic compounds, stuff like that. It's
Sounds
pretty
the
cool.
opposite of renewal.
Yeah. It's based on your skill in sorcery, your sorcery skill. Though that's what you will roll to hit. Just like if you were shooting a gun, your firearm skill would be the number of dice you roll. In here, your sorcery skill is the number of dice you roll. Ritual casting. This is the distance magic. This is the curses. It usually requires, because it's not line of sight, it requires some kind of physical link to your intended target. Be it a clipping of hair, nails, blood is a big thing. A drop of blood will go a long way.
FASA really liked his blood magic, didn't it?
Blood magic is a thing, and that's a bad thing, but I don't get into it.
No, but I'm saying, but FASA really liked that conceptually, didn't it? Because this has it, Earthdawn has it.
Yep. It has a collaborative effort put into it. That means you can get many more successes than you alone, because you have 2, 3, 4, maybe 100 wizards or shamans rolling with you, adding to your dice pool to possibly get more successes. So you can have a drastic effect, much greater than you could accomplish on your own if you work together. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? That's how it works. And of course, if you want to do ritual casting, it requires some kind of prepared space. For a hermetic mage, that's a magic circle. For a shamanic mage, it's a medicine lodge, and they all have to fit in it. So you are constrained by geography, the number of magic users.
Could a medicine lodge be a stadium?
Yes. It can be as big as a stadium. You just have to buy the right amount of materials and have time to make it. That's all you need. Oh, here comes some errata. I just gave this example of errata just for fun. The magic portion of the book has the most errata out of this entire game. Spell casting, target numbers, and magical item prices are the main things that we're focused on. All of these are in the Grimoire, which is another first edition book that you can get on DriveThruRPG for between $5 and $10. It is a supplement to Magic. Lots of cool stuff in there.
Yep.
New spells, new totems, new magical items, all kinds of cool stuff. And it covers all of the errata of the main book rules. All of it. And I'm going to have some of it at the end just to get you going.
Was it because they enhanced spell casting, or was it true errata? Like as in, we made mistakes
in the printing.
Okay.
They made, especially with the magical item prices, they made mistakes. Mistakes were made. So they fixed those mistakes in the Grimoire. All right. So we're casting a combat spell. It's the easiest kind of spell to cast. So that's why I'm using it as an example. The base dice is the spell's force. Now, spells, when you get them, you get a certain number of spells at character creation. And you get to allocate points to each spell between 1 and 6 in the beginning. You can get more later on, but between 1 and 6 for character generation is all you need. That is the dice force of the spell. If it was like a gun, 4M2. Well, let's say you have a level 4 fireball spell. The power is 4. This can be augmented, blah blah blah, magic dice roll, whatever. And in the Grimoire, they changed it to what I'm saying. In the first edition book, they misprinted this. That's why I'm telling you exactly how it is. Target number is based on the spell. Mana is willpower of the willpower defender, and physical body of the defender is for the physical. Here's the deal. It's the exact same thing as a gun and a punch. If it is a physical based spell, it does actual damage. It's a real fireball. It will light you on fire. It does physical damage. So it does, actual physical damage. If it is a mana based spell, it exists in astral space, connects to your body as a circuit, and it does mental damage. It does fatigue damage, like a punch. So each spell will be listed as either mana or physical. Physical does physical damage, mana does fatigue damage. The spell resolution goes like this. Caster rolls versus relevant attribute. I'm using a physical spell, so my target number is the body of the defender. Let's say your body is normal dude. You're 3. My target number is 3. I roll dice based on my sorcery and any of my magic pool that I wish to use to augment this, and I add up my number of successes. The defender rolls that attribute versus the caster's sorcery skill. So he's rolling 3 dice against my sorcery skill. Say it's 4. So every 4 is a success for him. That brings my successes down. If I have even 1 net success left over, I hit him.
Mm-hmm.
If I have 0 or negative successes, because he got more than me, then it didn't work. It just didn't work. Any magical barriers you have reduce successes just like body armor automatically. Defending magic pool dice add to the defender's dice pool. Like you have friendly magician on your side.
That gets crazy.
He's giving you 3 dice of his magic pool for defense. That means instead of rolling 3 dice, you roll 6. It adds 3 to your body. 3 dice to your body pool. So you're rolling 6 dice target number 4 instead of 3 dice target number 4, which is excellent. Base damage for your normal everyday pew pew combat spell is light 1, light 2, or light 3. Now remember, the power of the spell is based on character generation, how many points you allocated to it. So let's say 4. 4L1, 4L2, or 4L3. The more powerful the spell, fire dart, fire bolt, and fire ball, in that order, the harder it is to resist. So the staging goes up.
And there's one other caveat to that a lot of people I don't think recognize. Like, oh, it's light. My guns do more. Oh, really? You think so? Body armor is a bitch when it comes to guns.
Yeah.
It's not so helpful. I can, but it's not so helpful when it comes to magic.
Yeah, especially mana-based magic, which does mental damage and bypasses all physical armor, which is your ballistic
people
armor.
forget about that. Oh, it's light. That's nothing. My gun does more. Not when I'm wearing this.
Yeah. So let's get into drain. After you cast the spell, whether you succeeded or not, you have to deal with drain. Here's the deal with drain. To make magic things happen, you are taking magical energy from astral space or all around you, funneling it through your body, and then having it manifest out of your body into an effect that you desire. Fireball, lightning bolt, curse, whatever. But the act of pushing magic through your body, done wrong, can cause damage. Mental damage at first, but damage nonetheless. Very much like Earth Dawn. Now, every spell has drain. No matter how big or how small, there is a drain code. And it can cause damage. Drain damage is mental if the spell power is equal to or less than your magic attribute. Everyone starts with a magic attribute of 6. If you get cyberware, that goes down. If you take
magic and cybernetics does not play well together.
Does not play with magic. If you take a deadly wound and fail a roll to resist your magic loss, you lose magic. You lose magic attribute.
I forgot about that. That's the burnt out mage, isn't it?
Yes. He took too much damage. He got some cyberware to try and bolster his power, and he just lost more and more, and it was a spiral. And now he's only got a magic attribute of 1. If you're casting a spell with a power higher than your magic rating, Drain does physical damage. If it's equal to or lower, it does mental damage. And the difference is, even though, well, the target number difference and the initiative modifiers are the same, yes, but mental damage is healed much more easily than physical damage, much more quickly. The caster rolls drain after the casting is done. So your spell works or not, that will be resolved before drain happens. So you can actually kill somebody and then have your head explode from drain. Pyrrhic victory, sure, but you still won.
Well,
Now magical items. If you're a shaman, your totem can give you bonus dice to resist drain, depending on the spell. It can happen. Lots of stuff can do this. Example, let's see. Drain power is the force of the spell. The drain code is M2. Caster rolls willpower and gets 3 successes. Drain causes light damage. Am I going to be able to walk you through that? Nope, I'm not. Okay, let me walk you through that right now. Let's say you have you bought a fire bolt, which is the second level of fire spell, and you got it at power 6 because you want them to not be able to resist it. They got to roll 6s to resist this thing. Badass. Only problem is casting it at that level means drain is 6M2. That means you have to roll a 6 to resist the drain, and you need 2 successes to bring the drain down 1 level. If you get 4 successes, you take no drain. You've successfully navigated the waters of pushing magic through your body. If not, you took damage. And in this example, he only got 3 successes, not 4, so he took a light mental wound.
And another way of just reiterating that for folks out there is, when you increase the power of the spell, it's not just the effect that's hitting the target, it's the amount of effect that's coming through you to get there. So that's why it's not as easy. Like, oh, I got a more powerful spell, this should be easier for me. No, it's going to be harder for you as well.
Yeah, you are pushing more magic through your body faster. That's harder. It's harder to navigate properly. Yep. You blew out some blood vessels, man. Sorry.
Risk reward, man. The risk reward of nuking somebody. Yeah, that drain's going to hit you.
You might knock yourself out. It's happened a lot. It's happened. Now we're going to go over the 2 different schools of magic, Hermetic and Shamanic, in a little more detail. Hermetic mages can summon elemental spirits: fire, air, water, earth. That's it. But this takes a long time. Let me get to it. The conjuring skill is a dice pool. Spell casting is one skill. Conjuring is another. You have to raise them both separately. You use conjuring to conjure spirits, and it's based off of your charisma, not your willpower, like most other spells are. You require, as a hermetic mage, special materials. If you're summoning a water elemental, you need a large body of water and special incense and stuff like that, and time to prepare.
I'm gonna jump in. So Heathen, and it's not his fault. He's trying to do this as fast as possible. Just so for folks out there, when you have the attributes for, I think there's 6 or 8, whatever the hell it is for Shadowrun. 3 are physical, 3 are mental. It's not like he's just talking to having a cigarette and talking with the elemental. Charisma is actually considered a mental/magical attribute in the game.
Yes, you're actually convincing the spirit to bind itself to you for a period of time. So your charisma is key, and at that point. Now you roll target number equal to the spirit's force. You decide how powerful a spirit you want to try and bind to you. That is the target number for the test to get him, and and to resist the drain from getting him. Because just like spells, conjuring spirits has a drain component, because you're still moving magic through your body to tether him to you. It is an unresisted roll to summon. This will determine the number of services the spirit will provide. If you get 3 successes, the spirit will do 3 things for you. Now, they can be as simple as kill that guy, or they can be as difficult as patrol this warehouse until you're no longer bound to me. Elementals will stay bound to their services are completed. that means that you can hold on to an elemental. You can have him in your back pocket, so to speak, for a number of days or weeks equal to the number of services that you rolled, which means you can have him waiting away from you and then instantly summon him to you and then use his services. Now, the services are expendable purpose focus. I'll get into that in a second. Aid study, sustain spells, attack target, remote service. Expendable purpose focus is you drain the power of the spirit to augment your own magic. That'll hurt the spirit. It's just a spirit. Shut up. There's no room for PETA in hermetic magic. Okay, there's no room for that. Aid study. Each elemental, fire, air, water, earth, has a certain kind of magic attributed to it. Transmutation magic, combat magic, healing magic, whatever kind of magic that this elemental is connected to, he can aid you in studying that kind of magic to get new spells. Sustain spells. If it's a combat spell or a transmutation spell or whatever, and you have the right kind of elemental, you can give the spell to the elemental and the elemental will keep powering it, sustaining it round after round, while as you're free to do something else. That works too. Attacking a target. Like I said, kill that guy. Don't kill that guy. Remote service. Go fetch me some water from the Himalayas. Yes, sir. He'll go and come back. Fetch water. If he can make it, it's fine. Now, shamans summon different spirits entirely and have a completely different service mechanic. Here's what they do. They summon nature spirits, and they don't get to choose what kind of spirit comes to them. It depends on where they are. If you are in a park, you will summon a forest spirit of some kind. You will summon that. There's no choice. If you are in the back alleys of city streets, you will summon an urban spirit of some type. If you are inside a home, you will summon a hearth spirit. That's how it works. There's plenty of different spirits. It all depends on where you are when you summon is the one you get.
Location, location, location.
Exactly. And this spirit cannot leave its domain. If you are in, say, Central Park, you will summon a woodland spirit. He cannot leave the park because it's a different domain. It's an urban domain outside the park. He can't cross that line. He exists only in his environment. That's important. Conjuring skills, same thing. Spirit foci, which are, and totem adjustments can give you bonuses to this, but you use your conjuring skill to conjure. You roll for a target number equal to the spirit's force, just like the hermetic mage. It's unresisted. Number of successes is the number of services, but unlike elementals, shamanic nature spirits exist between sundown and sunset, or sunset and sundown. That means the next time the sun rises or sets, this spirit will go away. Even if you have services left, it will disappear.
So in the summertime, summon it in the morning. In the wintertime, summon it in the afternoon.
There you go. That you'll have the most time, but the number of services actually counts for a lot too. Nature spirits' power vary depending on their type. Forest spirits obviously are going to be forest related. Urban spirits are going to be urban related. Hearth spirits are going to be healing mostly. Stuff like that. So it is described in the book, the powers of all the different kinds of spirits.
Is it related to your totem at all? Does that have influence on it?
Your totem can give you bonus dice to summon certain kinds of spirits.
Oh, okay.
Or some of them, I think the Raven gives bonuses to just a flat +1 to all spirit summoning. Okay, fine. But the important thing, the big difference between hermetic and shamanic spirits, hermetic spirits take hours per force level to summon. Hours. So if you have a force, you want to summon a force spirit level 4, power 4. It will take you 4 hours to summon that spirit. A shaman summons a spirit in 1 round.
But that
whatever
makes sense.
level, doesn't matter. Whatever they want to roll for their target number, 6, 12, 24, whatever. 1 round. We'll find out if he comes or not.
But that completely makes sense because the Hermetic Mage is summoning from another plane of existence.
Yes.
The shamanic, the shaman is summoning from nature around you, so to speak.
Where you are, exactly where you are, not from some distant place on the planet, from where you right now are on the planet. So yes, it's immediate. So it's much more useful in, say, combat. If you don't know what you're going up against, you say, oh crap, I want to summon a spirit to help me. Boink, summon it. But like all wizards in D&D, if you plan ahead, you can have several spirits in your back pocket because they last for days and weeks, whereas nature spirits only last for 12 hours, right? So you can have elementals in your back pocket for whatever situation. You can be the Swiss Army knife of spirits. You can have 4 of them, one of each kind, waiting in the wings. But you have to plan ahead, and you have to buy the ingredients and have the right area to summon in, stuff like that. And then, of course, like I said, there's always drain. After summoning a spirit, you roll drain. This is based off charisma. Normal drain, you use your willpower to resist the drain. Summoning spirits, it's use your charisma because that's what you used to summon the spirit. That's what you defend against. Spirit force is equal to or less than charisma. Drain is force M1. So if you have a charisma of 3, if you're summoning a spirit that's 3, 2, or 1 power, the drain is 3 M1. It means if you get 2 successes, it'll be nothing. Medium goes to light goes to nothing, and the staging is 1. So each success brings it down. This is unresisted. If the spirit force is greater than your charisma but less than double, it's force severe 1. So in this last instance, it would be let's say 5 S1. That means I would need 3 5s to resist. 1 brings it to medium, 2 brings it to light, 1 more brings it to nothing. But if you're summoning a spirit that is double or more of your charisma, the drain is force deadly 1.
What is the moral of that story?
The moral of the story is you can summon a level 100 spirit, but then your brain could pop or you could just pass out and then the spirit goes uncontrolled. That's a bad day for everybody involved, including you and your friends. Uncontrolled spirits are no joke. They get rowdy. And they sometimes don't like you.
Sometimes.
It happens. Now, spirit foci or totem adjustments can be used. Remember, like I said, some totems give you bonuses to summoning spirits. You can use that for drain instead. You can use it to summon it or to resist drain. Or split them up. If there's more than 1 extra die, you can split them up to do both. It's fine. There are spirit foci, little, magical items that assist you in either summoning or resisting the drain of spirits. It's fine. Everything's cool. Okay, here's some major errata.
All right.
The price and power of power and weapon foci is wrong in the early printings. Most of first edition, it is wrong. A power focus is listed as 10,000 new yen per rating. It should be 100,000 per rating.
Wow. Okay.
A knife is listed as 18,000 per rating. It should be 180,000. A knife with orichalcum is 28,000. It should be 280,000. The reason being is because the most powerful focus is a straight up power focus. It will add its rating to whatever dice pool you want magically.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Pool, magic pool, attack, defense, drain. It does it all. It's the Swiss Army knife of magical stuff. But they accidentally forgot a 0. And the knife, it is a magical weapon. It adds its rating to your attack rolls for using it if you are magically awakened, if you have a magic attribute. That can severely increase damage. Well, that only costs 18,000 per rating. No, it's 180,000. job.
And when you understand how much you can make on a run,
that's nothing. 18 grand is nothing. It's crazy. Now, this was obviously a disastrous mistake because even a poor starting character, I didn't go through character creation, but you choose, how much money you start with. Even if you start off poor, you can still have a power focus of 3 with this chart,
and that's no joke. Yeah.
is nuts. That means your effective magic rating is 9. You start off with 6. Power focuses increase your magic rating by its rank, so that becomes 9. That means you can cast powers of spells up to 9 and still only take mental damage, and you get to add 3 to any magical roll anywhere. Well, as a dice pool, but still, you get to break it up however you want. A starting mage could, if you don't go super poor, go middle of the road or a little more, money. You can get a level 10, which is game breaking.
Yep.
Absolutely game breaking. Everyone you hit with a spell dies. You just pump all 10 into that. It doesn't matter. But what if he lives? He's not going to live. But he's got a big gun. He's not going to be able to use it because I'm going to pop his head like a zit. That's what a magical focus of 10 does. It makes you an unstoppable nuke. No one's going to survive. And there we go. We did it. We're done. We have succeeded.
Nope. There's one thing you didn't cover.
What's that?
One thing.
Lots of things I didn't cover, but
well, okay. That's true. But the one thing that I always express when I talk about Shadowrun and mages and shamans is that if your team has a mage and the other team doesn't,
you win.
You win.
Yep.
Why? Because you can put all of those dice into your offensive pool.
Yes. If the opposing team also has a magic user, you have to use some of your dice for defense, which means you're not going to be the 50 caliber rifle you could be. You have to play defense as well, which means you can't blow your entire wad on a area effect attack spell. But and if they don't have a wizard,
yeah. The street samurai is just there looking dumb. Like, I got all this cybernetics. Yeah, but
that's great. I'm attacking your willpower, not your body. It's a mana spell, not a physical spell.
Or even the street samurai on your side is just looking like, you can do what?
Yeah.
Because now the flip side is if the other team has a mage or a shaman and you do not, it's time to get out of there.
Yeah, you run away. Or you get caught and or die. You run away.
And it's because of the dice pools. And if there's one thing I wish Heathendog would have had time for, but honestly, he just doesn't have the time, is let's show these dice rolls, not in the numbers, because I'm sitting there looking at his numbers and I'm like, man, that's a lot of lists and that's a lot of things. And I can imagine people saying that's just way too much. When you put those dice in your hand, and like, did you see how quickly he did it when I rolled those dice earlier? It's like, okay, you got two successes. That drops it down 1. Okay, I rolled this. Dice rolls go by like that.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that the system has to be wordy in order for you to understand the step-by-steps.
Yeah. Dice pools exist to give players finesse and options.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in one-on-one fight, you will blow your entire dice pool on attacking.
Oh yeah.
Because if you can kill him, you don't have to dodge, man. If you just win, there's no dodging involved.
Of course, if you roll poorly.
Yeah, if you roll poorly, then you're boned. But like say you're a human going up against a troll, you're going to save a lot for defense.
Yes.
You do not want to get hit by a troll. Excuse me. You do not want to get hit by a troll. You could just die. Because I think the weakest troll is a strength of 7 or 8.
Oh wow, is that the weakest? I haven't played so long, I don't remember. That might be right.
The minimum attribute is ridiculous.
Of course, because you weren't covering.
Go over to the chat.
Yeah, back in this edition of the game, that's also when metahumans had weaknesses though too. So Reactionary Principle Gaming with Mr. Max Buffon. By the way, subscribe to his channel. He's got a new video out. Cool. He says that I like. magic should be taxing on the caster and dangerous. I agree with that.
No. Minimum strength of 5, minimum body of 6.
Minimum strength of 5. Oh, only 5.
The weakest and scrawniest of trolls has the maximum possible physical resistance that a human has.
So no, I agree with that. I do think that I like the idea of magic being not deadly to everybody, but potentially has. Yes, exactly.
Because it represents a lot of power. It should have a lot of drawback.
And just so everybody knows, no segment 3 today.
Sorry.
Yeah, because we still have one more segment to go through, and we're already over time.
So, actually, we don't need to go over that. So we don't need to do that segment. We don't need to do it.
Okay.
Yep.
Works for me. Well, then we have to do comments because I have comments for you.
Okay.
What if you summon inside a nuclear reactor or cemetery? Well, one thing isn't going to happen. What about the second one?
Okay. Well, if you summon in a cemetery, I think that would be, damn, you know what? Would it be a field? Technically, it would be a field, right? It's just a field with dead bodies in it.
I could see it being in the middle of the woods, or not middle of the woods, but
well,
I mean,
in the middle of the woods because a cemetery is a place that's clear cut.
Where I grew up,
a couple of decorative trees because they need all the surface area.
Where I grew up,
it would be a field
forest.
spirit. Yeah, it'd be a field spirit.
Okay. I can just tell you where I grew up in Minnesota, we had to clean it out. We had Arbor Day at the freaking cemetery, and it was in the forest.
It's unkept. It's nature's going to reclaim that shit. So.
Yeah, I loved going there as a grade school student, breaking that damn thing out.
Gross.
Second. Good. Are you looking at the different locations?
I'm trying to find the list of the spirits, list of the kinds of nature spirits. They're probably in critters because you can fight them. Go ahead, keep going. Is there anything else?
Nope, that's it. Other than
that's it. Oh.
Take that off the screen, and I will. So let me present this. All right, and here are the comments from last week. Well, Heathen Dog's looking up that one. Marvel superheroes. We had a bunch of decent views, but we didn't have. Oh, did you see the message I sent you on Discord about it? Okay,
I read it.
Okay, good. The Crafting Gamer, again, another channel you should subscribe to. Yep. Although apparently he can't do videos right now because computer poo-pooed on him or something. But he's got a backlog of videos that you can watch, especially about Robotech. Says, I literally did not know there was more than 2 RPGs out there, Palladium and D&D, until I found Legion of Myth. I'm going to be repeating this phrase a lot. Add to the ever-growing list of games I want to play. This is about Marvel superheroes.
Oh, okay.
So
that's funny.
Now we're gonna have 2 negative comments in a row. Well, this one's negative. The other one's we'll see. I never played Marvel superheroes, but I owned the 1E box set before I went to the army in February '86. I found the game poorly designed with bad power groupings that limited your ability to create any character that wasn't just a copy of some obscure Marvel character. Well, until Pum became. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what Pum is.
Is that the player power universal? So, I don't know.
I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what it means. And
what about
I didn't find that at all. I mean, the first edition box, he's using basic. Okay, there are 2 different versions of Marvel superheroes. There's Marvel superheroes basic and Marvel superheroes advanced set.
And you were clear about that.
I was clear. It was advanced. That was the picture. That was the picture I gave. It's advanced. See the advanced? Oh, it's player's book. Never mind. That's the judge's book. It doesn't say advanced on it, but it is the advanced. If you open up the cover, it is the advanced set. The
box set says it.
Yeah, the box will say it. It'll say basic or advanced. And yeah, I've never played the basic one, but I saw it, and if he's talking about that, he's right. It is very limited. That's why they came out with the advanced set. Because people were like, "This sucks. I got like 5 different powers. Come on."
I mean, don't get me wrong. The game's old and it is simplistic, and we're going to talk about that in the next comment a little bit. But I mean, there are very few games I actually hate based on the system itself. There are a couple of systems out there I played. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. But usually if I don't like a game, it's because, let's look at Dungeons and Dragons. It's because it destroyed the theme. It destroyed the lore, destroyed the canon, destroyed whatever term you want to use. That's my issues with it. Not that the game itself's bad. Heathen Dog and I, we don't differ necessarily on this, but neither of us are big fans of Savage Rifts. But where we do differ is I don't think that Savage Worlds is a bad game. Savage Worlds is a decent game. What I don't like is I just don't. Earth Dawn went there, although Earth Dawn's a little bit closer to Savage Worlds than Palladium is. Palladium went there. You cannot convert the nuance of Palladium to Savage Worlds. You just can't do it. And it's a completely different game. Is it Rifts like? Is it Palladium like? Absolutely. Can you really recreate the juicer there? No. Can you really recreate the Borg there? Well, that might be a little bit easier, but no.
A little bit easier, but still not really.
Because it doesn't have the same system that incorporates those thematic elements directly. You have to do it through roleplay, and that means you have to trust your game master, and you have to trust
the player.
The player. You do, yeah. So for me, it's not about system much. There are very few systems I look at and just say, no, I'm bored of D20. I'm bored of... there is one system I don't like, and I've been a little bit more open about this recently. I don't like 3.0. D&D 3.0 or Pathfinder. I don't like it. Not that it's a bad game in functionality, but it needs to make up its mind. You can be skill-based or class-based. I don't like 3.0. I would sooner play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons than 3rd edition every day of the week. But very rarely are systems the problem for me, because I think that the system, especially when it's a unique setting, I guess you'd say, kind of like the Marvel, the superhero genre.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the setting was built for that rule system, or that rule system was built for that setting, it can almost never go wrong. So like the Shadowrun, based on what we were talking about today, the Shadowrun thing.
Look at that. There's 4 basic types of nature spirit: land, sky, water, and man. If you're on actual earth ground, it's going to be a type of land spirit, forest, prairie, whatever. If you are on a mountaintop, it's going to be a sky spirit, or in the air, it's going to be a sky spirit. If you're on the water, in a boat, in the water, whatever, in the middle of a lake, it's going to be a water spirit. If you are in any kind of cityscape, be it a town, a city, a township, whatever, it's going to be some kind of spirit of man.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I kind of like that breakdown better.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is the one I sent this one to Heathen Dog beforehand. I warned him about this one because I have thoughts, but I want him to go first.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna read it. I got this. I got this. I won't be getting this for the same reason I won't be getting Palladium RPGs. They have too many attributes, skills, and abilities to conveniently track. It kills the incentive for players to use personal skill. I disagree with every word of this statement, and I'm going to tell you why. Saying that Marvel superheroes is complicated means you have had some kind of brain damage and you need help. Please get it. But every RPG has added complexity. Complexity brings 2 different factors. Complexity brings variation in gameplay, and it slows down gameplay. For example, rolling against armor class is a complexity to hit. You have to factor in somebody else's armor class. You have to factor in your ability to your bonuses to hit. You have to find the right number and then roll it. That's a complexity. But it also it slows down gameplay. It does. But it also gives the player an idea of how difficult it is to hit that opponent, and they may change strategy. Another example. Let's use Shadowrun, what we just did. It is a much more complex game than Marvel superheroes. Dice pools add complexity. They both give the player and the game master variation in gameplay, but they also slow down gameplay. Some people say it slows it down too much. Some people don't. I understand both sides. Marvel superheroes is unique in almost in all of the games we've done so far, that it has complexity that only gives one slowdown. The only thing each of its complexities do is column shift. That's it. The complexity of having a skill or a talent gives you a bonus column shift. Adverse environments give you a minus column shift. Anything, pluses or minuses your column shift. And it's the judge's job to count that. All you have to do is roll a 10-sided die. You don't change the number. You don't do anything with that number. You move your finger. You move your finger left or right a number of times and then say what color you got. All of its complexities use the same mechanic to slow down gameplay, column shifting. If you can get used to column shifting, you can get used to 90% of the complexity of this game. That's it. That is not hard. Now, you're saying Palladium's hard. You might even say Shadowrun's hard. I can see that. It doesn't matter if I agree. I can see your point. And so I think it's valid. But if you're saying Marvel's superheroes is complicated, you need help. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Which is gonna have me start my second point, not my first point, because this is a segue into that one. Marvel Superheroes was blasted in the 80s for being too simplistic. It was a game for kids. Oh, your kids will enjoy playing it, but adults are gonna want something deeper. That was actually written, and it was a Dragon magazine. People are like, well, Marvel superheroes, neat idea, but the game system's pretty it's overly simplistic, and people complained about that. So yeah, to say to say that it's too many attributes, skills, and abilities to convenient track. Try playing Heroes Unlimited, Mutants and Master Champions. Jeez.
Oh my God, Champions, Hero System, even GURPS would just mystify you as if it was Greek.
Right.
Or ancient Sanskrit.
Now, this last sentence here, it kills the incentive for players to use personal skill. My guess is that this person is in his 50s or 60s. He's a grognard who played, and I'm not saying grognard in a negative way. We're grognards.
Yeah, just wait it.
He's a grognard who played basic Dungeons and Dragons, and is one of those people that sit out there and says, it's about the player, not about the character. Well, this is why I don't agree.
No.
And I'm not saying second edition AD&D, even though that's true, but I am a second generation grognard. I think they keep changing the terms, but I'm not the beer and pretzel kick in the door. My tune does this. I am the Dragonlance era player, which means I want role playing. I'm playing the character. The character is not me.
Right.
So I don't have the set of skills my character has. So let's look at that. It kills the incentive for players to use personal skill. Are you going to sword fight me at the table?
No. You don't have any skills in your personal life. Well, no, I can't say it positively, but likely don't have any skills in your personal life that will transfer over to someone in a fantasy setting.
Right.
Based in the past, or to a superhero trying to, beat up 3 ninjas, right? I don't have skills for that. So I'm going to use my character skills, and his knowledge is greater than mine in this area. And there is a firewall that should be between my knowledge and his knowledge.
Yes.
And nothing should pass between. That's called role playing.
Yes.
That's all you got to do.
Now, but in this guy, possibly in this gentleman's defense right here, that's not how it originally started. It originally started that the player was everything. The character was just the thing because it came from wargaming. Well, the hobby's moved on since then. And there are some things, the evolutions of the hobby I like, and some things I don't. One of the evolutions of the hobby I like is, for me, is the focus on the character is not me. So my skill doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm Garthon and I know about green lasers versus red lasers. Doesn't matter if I know exactly how telephony standards should work in the real world. Doesn't matter if I'm a survivalist out there, a prepper who knows all about hunting and yada yada. The character stats on there are what matter.
Character stats and skills.
Right. Now, I agree. There are some advantages to something like basic D&D, where a fighter is a fighter is a fighter, because Heathen Dog can play, I guess I say it's on Friday Night Chill Stream all the time, I can play a warrior that goes sword and board. So you know that I'm going to be more defensive. He could go balls to the wall, two-handed sword, I'm going to just max out my damage. Somebody else can ride a horse and poke him with long sticks, and another person can have a bow. All of those were fighters. We didn't need different classes for them. I get it. But unless you're talking specifically about something like basic D&D, the personal skill has nothing or little, very little to do with the game. This is why we allow characters who I wouldn't talk to in real life play high charismatic bards. This is why we let retards play mages. This is why we let Mortimer Snurd play fighters, because we're trying to role play something that's not us.
Right. So yeah, I mean, your personal skill doesn't mean anything, shouldn't mean anything to your character, just to you.